Hi everyone. I'm Vincent Ampuri. I'm program manager for HyperWorks at Explicit Solver Interfaces and Safety Solutions. And for today, I'm going to show you the HyperWorks 2022 features. I will start with the agenda, the following agenda. The first point, I will go through an overview of the existing features that we have in HyperWorks for the Explicit Solver Interfaces and Safety Solutions. Then I will present you the different new features and important updates we have made for the Explicit Solvers interfaces. As a third point, I will go through the new features for the vehicle crash and safety analysis, and I will finish with a summary. So overview on existing features. So just to give you a recall you the existing tools and functionalities that we already have in HyperWorks for the Explicit Solvers. This is here a representation of the supported domains of applications that we support in HyperWorks. So you have, as you can see, a broad support for structural impacts, crash and safety, vehicle crash and safety, defense, thermal analysis, implicit analysis, manufacturing, free structural interactions, and SPH analysis, for example. And as part of these different domains of application, you have a huge number of tools which cover the complete workflow of your analysis. So from the meshing, to the model build with the different tools like part and subsystem, includes management, and so on and so forth. You go to the analysis setup with all the capabilities to create and define your loads, your contacts, cross-sections, solver controls. And finally, you have everything you need for the model quality assessment to ensure that your model is ready to be run without any issues. And once you are done with that, you can go through the post-processing and automatic reporting to post-process your results. Once you're done with that, you have all the capabilities also in HyperWorks to do more and learn about your models, learn about your product, and optimize it with machine learning and design exploration workflows. So this is a huge, you see, offering that you have which covers the complete workflow for your design and your product development. For vehicle crash and safety, especially, for example, for the occupant analysis, for occupant safety analysis, here as well, we have today everything you need as tools available in HyperWorks, from dummy positioning with resimulations, seat mechanism to position the seats in the different positions, seatbelt system to create the complete seatbelt system with all the solver related features. You have everything for the seat deformation. Airbag folding is also a very interesting feature that is available in HyperWorks. And for the different regulations, crash regulations like pedestrian impact, for all the Euro NCAP, China NCAP, and GTR, we have a dedicated solution in HyperWorks. Same for IP impact for FMVSS 201 and ECE R21. And finally, you have also a tool like the barrier positioning tool, which allows you to finalize the positioning of your barrier for all the possible crash regulations for the different load cases, front, rear, side. So all those tools are usually used to create your different includes or subsystems that you will need for the final load case management and load case setup of your vehicle crash model. So this is where you can go then to the subsystem configurations and load case management, where you can here very easily define your different subsystems configurations. And in one click, you see define and decide which load case you want to consider for your simulation. And finally, on the post-processing aspect, here as well, we have a couple of tools which are very interesting today. As I said, we have for the pedestrian impact, the complete solution implemented in HyperWorks. So for the pre-processing, but also for the post-processing, which is covering the complete and automatic post-processing of all the impact points. For the IP impact tool as well, the MPDB assessment tool is available. And I would also point you to the Altair Safety Report Manager, which is also a very important and interesting tool, which gives you the ability to proceed and to perform a complete and detailed reporting of your vehicle crash analysis, from vehicle structural analysis to the different key points like dummies, injury criteria, and so on. So moving forward with the new features in HyperWorks 2022 release for the explicit solver interfaces. I will start first with the radius profile. So in this profile, we have, as usual, made the new radius 2022 profile available together with the new release of the 2022 radius solver version. So this is supported in HyperWorks at the same time. We have added a huge number of new keywords as well. As you see, 32 new keywords. I will not go through. I let you look into the release notes where everything will be listed. Same for the keywords updates, which are made in this release for the radius interface. So a huge, a very important amount of improvements for the keyword support and reliability of HyperWorks for the radius interface. Also, we have added the capability of units conversion in the radius profile, which allows you to convert a full model from a current unit system to a target unit system. So you see on the screen here the unit system that we support today and which have been deeply validated. And this feature was available in LS-DYNA profile since 2021.2. Now it is leveraged and available for the radius profile. For the LS-DYNA interface, we have added new domains of applications for NVH, acoustic, and durability. This is made available by the implementation of the frequency domain keywords in LS-DYNA. This is a huge list of keywords. Here is just, you see on the screen, just a snapshot of a few number of them. Those keywords are mapped into the new frequency entity. And as you can see, you have with these keywords the ability to simulate all possible vibration simulation and problems. So for acoustic, as I said, NVH durability. In your continuous effort of aligning all the entities across the different profiles and cleaning up also the keywords mapping across the different profiles as well, we have here in this release migrated the integration shell and integration beam keywords to a new integration rules entity, which is dedicated for those keywords for LS-DYNA. We have do the same for the defined stochastic variation keywords, which are now mapped to the perturbations entity. So with these new entities, you have a clear access to these functionalities and keywords in the DYNA profile. Previously, those ones were mapped into the property entity where a lot of keywords were mapped together, which were not really user-friendly and easy for the users to be found and So now this is much better. Regarding an important update and enhancement on existing entities for the element mass. As you may know, in existing 2021 2 release, we have all the element mass keywords in SDyna mapped inside the solver mass entity. In this entity, all the element mass nodal masses were mapped into, or let's say, collected into a single element mass keyword and a single entity, which has a consequence on the management or usability. In that case, it was not possible to, let's say, access the individual nodal masses and manage them. So you didn't have the possibility, for example, to edit the nodal mass on an individual node, change the mass value, or maybe delete this one or move it to a new grouping of element masses. So this has been enhanced using this new preference option that you can find here on the screen, which is now enabling the graphical display of the single nodal masses. And from this graphical display, you have now the ability to select any nodal masses, which allows you then to modify it, to edit, modify, delete, and organize them to a different solver mass entity. Here is a small recording just to show you. So you see, this is the standard representation where no element masses were shown. Here now, I have activated this feature, and you see on each nodal masses, you have a graphical selection available. And you can select any of this node, you can edit it, or here, for example, you can go to the organize workflow, select any of those nodal masses. And if you want to club them into a new element mass, you can do so very easily like that. So finally, in the BAM crash interface, we have here as well enhanced the support of the BAM crash solver version by adding the BAM crash 2021 solver profile. Also, as a sake of cleanup of BAM crash versions, which are today not more really used, and in order to focus more on the latest and greatest profiles, the profile 2012, 13, and 14 are not more exposed, which doesn't mean that you cannot read those decks in HyperWorks. This is just that those profiles will not be exposed anymore, but you have access then to all the latest and greatest profiles, and which are today the one which are used on the market. And here as well, as our continual effort to align the different entities across the profiles and the keywords mapping consistency across the profiles, you see now the friction entity available now in BAM crash interface with the mapping of the freak and freak tab keywords. So today in the 2022 release, you have the friction entity available in all the 3 explicit solver profiles, which make, if you want, a consistent mapping and for your model setup independently of the solver profile you are using. And this is what we are continuously doing, and we will continue in that way to make the user usability of HyperWorks consistent and easy for across all the different profiles. Same, we have leverage the export solver deck functionality to the PAM crash interface. So this functionality was added in 21.2 inside the Radius and Alestina interfaces. This is a very interesting and very powerful functionality for users, which allows you to select any entities from the browser, from the model browser, from each entity browser. So you can select any entity, and from the context menu, export this selection to a solver deck. The powerful why this functionality is very powerful is because you are not just exporting the selected entity, but also the tool will consider all the reference entities to be exported as well. So for example, if you have a material, or let's say if you have a part, a component, this component has a property, a material, and the material has curves, then if you select the component and you want to export this component to a solver deck, the tool will also consider automatically the reference property card, the reference material card, and also the reference curves, which are referenced inside the material. So this is a complete and automatic functionality, and it is very fast, so that you can, like that, in an efficient way, in a quick way, export any sub content of your model to a solver deck. And finally, I will go now to the HyperWorks 2022 Crash and Safety Solutions updates. So in this release, we have focused our development efforts on making the dummy positioning very powerful for the positioning of the dummy in an automatic way using test lab measurements. This is a standard procedure at OEMs and suppliers, where when you have to correlate your simulation to a test, you usually have from the test lab measurement data, measurement coordinates, which define on different location on your dummy the coordinates of some targets on some points, which define then the final position of your dummy. And in your simulation, you want, of course, to have exactly, or at least the position of your FE model, which correlates as much as possible the position of the dummy inside in the test. So till now, this was always a very cumbersome manual process from the users, and this is something I can tell you as from my experience as well. It's something that you can, for one dummy, you can spend a full day to position a dummy and make sure that for each of the measurement points you have reached a position which is close to the test lab measurements. And at the end, actually, you are not completely sure that the position you have reached is maybe the best that could be reached. So here what we have done is we have developed a tool where the user will be made available to import directly the test lab measurements information. We automatically create like that target points on the dummy and their corresponding target in the space to be reached. So this is what you see, for example, here on this on the screen. So you see for the feet, and on the legs you see the target points, and for each target you see with the dotted line the target in the space that need to be reached. Okay, and the tool will automatically move the dummy to reach the best position that the dummy can reach to match these targets. So here is a small video showing this process. So you start first by selecting dummy test lab positioning GUI. From your model, you can, for example, here scan an output block. So for example, a nodal time history to create the different design points or target points on your dummy, and then import a CSV file where you have your test data, and for each target points, the corresponding target in the space will be assigned. And then you can select all the design points to be moved and let the tool position the dummy. And here you see, after this process, the dummy has been fully positioned. So the process can take, depending on the possibility to reach the target, it's a process which takes few minutes, from 1 minute to maybe 5 or 6 minutes, depending on the different number of points you want to position and the quality of the targets you can reach. So compared to a full day of manual work, this is definitely a huge improvement in the process of positioning the dummy in the vehicle. So as a summary, I would like to say that HyperWorks today provides a suite of tools that covers the complete product simulation workflow. And we have a new product design which make the customer set up their models in a consistent and efficient and robust way to limit the errors, which is very important. And in 2022 release, for the explicit solver interfaces and safety solutions, those are the points that I have mentioned in my presentation. So first, the support of new domains of applications for the LS Dyna solver with the implementation of frequency domain keywords for NVH, acoustic, and durability simulations. You have new achievements on the cleaning of keywords mapping and lining up the entities across the solver profiles, which is something that we will continue to do in the upcoming releases. We are leveraging tools that were implemented in the release before to new solver profiles like unit conversion, export of entity to solver deck. We support the new commercial solver versions for radios and PAM crash. We have increased the keyword support for better reliability with the implementation of huge number of keywords and important updates in them. And finally, we have achieved a very nice process lead time reduction for positioning crash dummies using test lab measurement data, which I'm pretty sure will help a lot of our customers at the OEMs and supplier places. So this was my presentation for the 2022 explicit solver interfaces and safety solution. I hope you will like it, and I say see you next time. Thank you very much.